Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning or whenever you do get to join me. Today I am doing a video that was requested by a friend of mine regarding the long-term effects of keto and low-carb, high-fat. In my case, it's keto because that's what I'm doing right now. So we'll get right into it. Of course, I've done a little bit of research on dietdoctor.com, and there have been other areas. In fact, the friend that requested this actually sent me an article this morning regarding a man who actually beat cancer. He had been given 3 months to live. And from what it sounded like it might have been bone cancer because it was in his skeletal system. So he had heard about the ketogenic diet. It was something that I don't know if it was like me. I didn't stumble across it, obviously, because the Lord led me to it. But he decided to give it a try. I mean, you got 3 months to live. What have you got to lose, right? Other than the obvious. So he did, and basically it worked because cancer cells survive on glucose, and carbohydrates will turn into glucose in your system. So if you don't give it any carbohydrates, your cancer, or not your cancer cells, but the cancer cells don't have anything to feed on, so they basically starve to death. And what's really cool that I read in this article is that the rest of your body's cells can survive on either ketones, which is what you get when you get into ketosis, or they can survive on glucose. So either way, your good, healthy cells in your body will survive if you don't give them carbohydrates. And the win-win in that is if you're doing the ketogenic diet like I am and so many others are doing, you're not giving your body any glucose. You're not giving your body any carbs to turn into glucose. And so it seems like it'd be a cancer prevention. So I can't, obviously I can't definitively say that, but that's what the evidence seems to be pointing to. Some other benefits of long-term ketosis and even short-term. So any of these that are what I'm experiencing now, and I've been on it July 5th will be 8 months. One of the benefits is clarity. Your mind is more clear, and there's no brain fog. There's no sluggish brain, even though I sound like I'm having some sluggish brain moments right now, but it's early and I'm still half asleep. But your mind is more clear. Your thinking is clearer. There's just not that, you're more productive in your brain activity. It just seems like solutions come to me more often at work. I'm getting more ideas, now that I've gotten my body straightened out and my body detoxed of sugar and carbs. My mind is clearer. I'm hearing the Lord better. It's just amazing. I mean, there's just so many benefits to this. There's also, and I'm checking my notes here, weight reduction as well as weight maintenance long term. I read a couple of articles on dietdoctor.com that talked about a few women, two in particular, that had lost about 100 pounds. I think one of them was over 100, and one has kept it off for 17 years and the other has kept it off for 15 years. And the great thing about this way of life is that it is totally sustainable. I mean, it's not, once you get into, and I don't want to say habit, but it is a habit like I talked about in my last video. Once you get in the habit of eating better and eating cleaner, it becomes second nature. It has for me. I mean, day before, we had a little get together at work, and one of the ladies brought in this amazing dark chocolate raspberry cake thing in a bowl, and it looked absolutely gorgeous. And dark chocolate and raspberry is one of my favorite things. But I took not even a complete spoonful. I just took a little, maybe a couple tiny bites, and tried it, and I was fine. So I'm always conscious of not getting back into those habits and giving my body carbohydrates, which will turn, like I said, into glucose. So I want to make sure that I'm going to stay on this for the rest of my life. And that is one great thing about this way of life, is that it is sustainable and it can be done. And it is being done. I mean, millions of people across the world are doing this every day, loving it, loving life. It's just amazing. Energy. Oh my word. Where do I start? When I first started this, I had no energy. I mean, before I started keto, I felt like I was having to carry my backside with me everywhere because it was just dragging all the time. No energy, wasn't sleeping well, and that is actually another long-term benefit. You sleep better, but I'll get to that in a second. Then once my body detoxed and I started becoming fat adapted, which again means that my body was burning fat instead of carbs for fuel, my energy level was unbelievable. It was like it punched a hole in the ceiling of my house and just shot straight into the stratosphere. I mean, I would sit down for a second and I'd look at my husband and I'd say, well, I'm going to go do something, because I just literally couldn't sit still. But it wasn't a jittery type of energy. It was just one of those where you just had to do something. You had to get up and go, and you just had to do something because you had so much energy. It's almost like we have a neighbor that has a border collie, and border collies are known to have to run because they're herding dogs by nature. And so it was kind of like that. I just had all this energy and I had to figure out what to do with it. So that is a definite byproduct. Excuse me, my cat keeps rubbing up against my computer. Stop, please. So then, so the energy, yes, energy level went through the roof. I started sleeping better. Sorry, I had to knock her off the table. Well, not literally, but anyway. I was sleeping better, and I've been noticing that lately too as well. My sleep apnea, I had severe sleep apnea. And in fact, my sleep study, I held my breath 187 times in 1 hour. And so I was on a BiPAP machine, which is a machine that actually blows air all the time, whereas I believe a CPAP just blows air when you inhale. So I had severe sleep apnea, and I think it's been at least a month, if not more, and I haven't had to use my BiPAP machine, which I cannot tell you how wonderful that is. And if any of you have experienced sleep apnea, and it's not a good time. So I am sleeping better in that aspect, which is amazing. Physical endurance. I noticed when I started this, I was probably a couple of weeks in, and I noticed that when I climbed stairs, I wasn't winded. And then I got to where I could run up and down the stairs and wasn't winded. I can go up and down several flights of stairs and I'm not winded. That was amazing to me because I hadn't been doing any cardio per se other than climbing stairs, and because the building I work in is really big, and we have 3 sets of stairs, 3 flights of stairs in there. There's one in the middle, there's 2 by where my desk is. So I'm constantly, and then there's one we have to climb to get to the parking garage. So I'm constantly climbing stairs at work. And I noticed that before, when I would climb just even 1 flight of stairs, I had to stop at the top and just catch my breath and be like, I couldn't talk. But my endurance to just any kind of physical activity has been wonderful. So now I want to do those things. I want to walk more, and Jay and I are actually planning on going on a hike, probably in the fall or maybe in the spring. We're going to go on a serious hike. So I'm really excited about that. And before, I would look at videos talking about that and just live in regret. I would just be like, but now I'm excited. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited that I can share these things with him because he loves to do that kind of stuff. No inflammation is also another long-term benefit and short-term benefit. All these are long and short-term benefit. Well, I say short-term, but they're there in the beginning, like when your body gets fat adapted and they just continue on, but no inflammation. When I first started this, my body hurt all the time, and I didn't realize it until my doctor told me, but carbohydrates actually and sugar actually causes inflammation, which causes pain. And I didn't realize that's why my body hurt all the time. And so once I detoxed and became fat adapted, my body didn't hurt. My body hasn't hurt. It's been amazing. So there's actually been studies. If you have not seen it, if you have not seen the movie, The Magic Pill, I implore you, go watch this movie. The ketogenic diet has helped with symptoms of autism, epilepsy, type 2 diabetes has been reversed. The symptoms have been reversed in people with type 2 diabetes. I have read countless stories and seen many videos of people who were type 2 diabetic, and within a few weeks of doing the ketogenic lifestyle or the ketogenic diet, I don't like to use that word diet, but whatever, they were off their medication. I mean, again, get with a doctor that will talk to you about this, who actually advocates this way of life, and talk to them, get with them. I highly recommend that. I don't ever recommend anybody starting this without talking to a doctor. I was overweight. I was 292 pounds. I had severe sleep apnea, but I really didn't have any other major issues health-wise other than that. But I still am on a doctor's care. I went and saw her a couple of weeks ago, or last week. So, I mean, or no, it was actually Wednesday, this past Wednesday, 2 days ago. Remember that mental clarity I was talking about? It's there, I promise. But my days just kind of run together. It's been crazy. But anyway, but yes, please get with a doctor. Don't try to tackle this on your own, because if you're, like I've said before in other videos and in other things that I have written, if you have certain illnesses, if you're on certain medications, you cannot do the ketogenic diet. But that's okay. As I've said before, this is what God led me to, and He will show you what is right for you. But please, I implore you, get with a doctor, one who advocates this, and at least talk to them and see what your options are, because they'd be able to help you and let you know for sure. And another thing is, this way of life is not a new idea. There was a gentleman named, I think his name was William Banting, yes, back in the 1800s, who was very overweight, and whose doctor, he went to several doctors. They all told him, stay away from fat, stay away from, the usual mantra that we hear and have heard for years. And he said he exercised until his feet almost fell off, and he just continued to gain. And he said that he went to he was an undertaker, that's right, which I find extremely funny. But let's see. He went to an ear, nose, and throat doctor. That's what it was. And he had failed and failed and failed. And the ear, nose, and throat doctor said, stay away from sugar and bread and milk and beer and potatoes and all these things that he had lived on. And I believe he also even mentioned butter, which we all know that butter is, a staple in the ketogenic lifestyle. But this is what this particular doctor told Mr. Banting to do. And so he's looking at this going, how am I going to survive there? I have nothing left to eat. But he did, and he said after 38 weeks, every ailment he had was gone. Symptoms, everything was gone. He said even his hearing had been restored. It was incredible. He lost 46 pounds and 12.25 inches off his waist in 38 weeks. So that's pretty significant. And he was in fact, Christy Sullivan, whose cookbook that I have, in fact, I have it right here. If you have not gotten this cookbook, please get this cookbook. It is absolutely incredible. As you can see, anyway. So she actually started out, and she talks about banting, because it's called banting, which is another form of a ketogenic diet. But it's just amazing. Back in the 1800s, they were even doing this. And he, to the day he died, he actually lived that lifestyle, and he never looked back. And that's the place where I'm at. I'm here, I'm doing it. God showed me this, and I am doing this until either Jesus comes to get us or, whatever. In fact, that's the only way I plan to go is through the, anyway. So, but yeah, always, always, always listen to your body though, because you're the first one to know when something's not right. So anyway, I hope this helped. I love this way of life. It has been just transforming for me. It has been freeing. I have my life back. God has just given me, this was such a gift from him. I mean, the Lord just keeps on giving every single day. And this was another gift that he gave me, and I cannot thank him enough. But anyway, so yes, any of the good benefits that you're feeling in the beginning of this way of life, in the middle, or whatever, all of those effects, those short-term effects that you start feeling, the energy and the mental clarity and the endurance and just the feeling of your body just kind of, and I literally felt like my body did that. It just keeps going, and it keeps getting better and keeps improving. So I'm sure down the road when I'm, even more pounds gone, there'll be other benefits that, I feel, or the ones that I'm currently experiencing now will just be exponentially bigger and better. So we'll see. But right now, last weigh, I am at 75.6 pounds down, I believe. So yeah, and there you have it. Weight loss is obviously the number one thing, but for me, it was so much more than just the weight loss. I told my doctor, I said, I would have been really disappointed had I not lost any weight or inches, but just from the way that I feel, just in the way that my body feels now, it would have been completely worth it. So I encourage you, please go see a doctor and talk to someone about this and, get it done. It's a good thing. It's a wonderful thing. I've enjoyed it, and I'm continuing to enjoy it. My husband is reaping benefits because he's doing it as well. He's not doing it as hardcore as I am, but he's actually eating a lot of the things, and he's making adjustments and substitutions and things like that. So he is making an effort, which helps, because if you don't have somebody, especially if you live with somebody or married to somebody who's not doing it, if you have daughters who don't want to do it, that was for a friend of mine, then it makes it a lot tougher, especially if you have to cook for said people. If you have to cook for kids and a spouse who doesn't want to do it or isn't sure about it, which I totally get, it makes it tougher because you have to cook them normal meals while you're not eating that. So, it'd be hard for me. I have to be honest. It would be really hard for me to make, it isn't now, but it would have been in the beginning, to make mashed potatoes or French fries or whatever for Jason and watch him eat it and not be able to. Breads and buns and all that stuff. In the beginning, that was tough. Pizza. Oh my word. I'm not even a big fan of pizza, but when you can't have it anymore, or you shouldn't have it anymore, it makes it all look more delicious. I'm just going to tell you. So thankfully there is, and in this cookbook and in many other websites that I follow, which you'll find in another video, there are alternatives to pizza, and we have tried them and they're fabulous. So I am almost at 20 minutes. I'm so sorry, Tony. But anyway, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. If you have any video requests, comment below. And if you have anything you'd like to just share, please feel free to comment. I also have a Facebook group called Wait for His Glory, Our Keto Journey, and we would love to have you. It's a small group. We just started it. So yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day. I love you. The Lord loves you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.